On this episode, we're looking at a weird piece of exercise equipment, as we often do. We're also talking about happiness, perspective, gratitude, self-awareness, and sometimes things are shit hot and we don't realise because our thinking is not. Hi, Tom.
Welcome to your house, Craig.
Welcome to my house, my studio. A couple of people on the weekend when I was away said to me, "Where's that place that you record?
Yeah.
What is that thing?" I said, "It's my joint. It's my joint. It's right next to my lounge."
And when it's not the radio studio, it's the dungeon.
That's right.
For all the clients that misbehaved all those years ago.
The bad boys and girls.
Yeah.
I just go to that room, don't fucking come out
Yes.
until you've changed your thinking.
Yeah. Press the button, the screen goes up.
It's like something out of Maxwell Smart and Chaos, although you're a little too young for that. Are we diving into anything, or can we recap your honeymoon because you're now married, you're brown, you're super brown, you're super sexy?
I've got a tan line where my ring is.
Well, I don't have a tan line near my ring, but another story. Oh, stop it! Boom! I was away on the weekend in state, and I had, without doubt, Amy, don't watch this bit. Amy, look away. Now, I had 5 girls come up to me, go, "Love the show, love the, tell me about Tommy." I'm like, "Fuck Tommy."
I'm going to give you just a photo on your phone of my ring to say, yeah, I've got a photo of something.
Yeah, how's Tommy? Oh, he's super married.
No, I had a great time, hence the tan, the European glow. But you're right, before we get into it,
Yes.
I was in Cinque Terre, which is in Italy.
Cinque Terre? Isn't Cinque 5?
Yeah, the 5 villages. So
Right.
we're in one of the villages.
Right.
And I was sitting having coffee by myself. This was probably like 6:45 in the morning. And
The Pope came up and said, "Are you the guy from the Craig Harper No.
Mate, even better. The Pope asked God to serve up one of the most unusual things I've ever seen.
Right.
And it's only fitting because it's a piece of exercise equipment and I want to show it to you. Tell
Really?
me what this is, please.
What the Have you stopped swearing since you... Hang on. Oh, those springy... I've seen those. To me, that seems a stupid idea. Did you just... How come they're going both?
Yeah, because they just ran back past.
Look at your face. That's great.
What is that?
I don't know. It would seem like an accident waiting to happen because it would seem to be, because they're quite narrow. I don't know what they're called, but I've seen them, but I've done no research. So this is me just speculating. I think the downside of that would be, one, they would seem to be quite unstable. You could do your ankle. Were they in boots? Were they in actual boots?
They look like ski boots.
Right. Well, then you're probably not going to do your ankle, but you might fall over and break your shoulder. The other thing is, when you're getting all that energy return from the spring, you're doing less work. So it's a gimmick. Oh, well, I don't know. It would seem like a gimmick.
That was just in sync, just...
Yeah.
But
What are they? Do we know what they're called?
I actually haven't done any research on them.
Right. I'm sure right now, very soon there'll be something. They are called or something.
I don't want to promote them because I don't want anyone else wearing them.
Fuck it then. If you want to find out, look up springy stupid shoes. Google search.
I just thought I'd share that with you.
That's very interesting.
Before we get
We haven't
into
looked at any exercise equipment for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it's good, or any stupid people doing stupid things in gyms.
I've said it before, please, if you have any others, because I'm running out.
Where do they send it? Where do the good folks send it?
Just contact you and then we'll give them an address.
How about this? Info at the U Project, all one word, info at the U Project, all one word, .global.
Okay.
So send it there, and the lovely Melissa, my PA, the life support system for Craig Inc.
It has to be something that we can road test, or at least have.
Right.
Because I think it's better when we actually have them.
Yes.
I didn't have those boots, but I'm glad I saw them.
Yes. So you had a good time?
Had a great time, mate.
Goody gumdrops.
I'm ready to get into it.
Where are we starting?
Well, I've been away for 4 weeks, so I've done F-all planning.
So you're back. Did you coming back to Australia? Was it a bit sad, or was it a bit joyous, or did it give you any being away from our fine land for a month? Did it give you a different perspective?
Oh, we're very lucky here, and I always hear that, and I've said it before, but it's only when you go away, when you come back, and because I went to like Israel,
Yeah.
I went to Greece.
What was Israel like?
It's a really interesting place. People feel quite hardened there.
Right.
And that's the sense I got when I went there.
Mm.
But the reality is that most apartment blocks have bomb shelters in them.
Yeah.
Whereas you don't have that in St Kilda.
No, not a lot. Not a lot in the Bayside area in general.
Not really.
Bomb shelter? No.
And so I just got a sense, and even like in Italy, there's gypsies everywhere, and you have to be mindful of your pockets because people will pickpocket you.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you can walk around with a $5 note hanging out, and some bloke will probably come up and say, "Mate,
You got a $5 note hanging out.
it's not happening overseas."
Yeah.
So yeah, it is amazing, and very grateful for being in a place like this.
It's funny how, like, I did a little video the other day about my dodgy back that I've got at the moment, and while it's a pity, I guess, that we have to lose something even temporarily to go, oh yeah, that's right, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
You know, like when you can't walk temporarily, like me at the moment, still hobbling around a bit, you just go, yeah, walking's just really good.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, the things that we take, and I know this is a common thing, but, you know, turn on tap, there's cold water, there's hot water, push a button, there's air conditioning, push a button, there's heat, there's a bed, there's, you know, like we live in this very, very convenient culture and society, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But in the middle of all that, because it's almost like you get desensitized to the goodness and then you get transplanted somewhere else, like you going away, even though it's beautiful, you come back and you go, yeah, if I had to make a choice, this would be the place. And so with me too, even with something as fundamental as walking, which you do on autopilot and without gratitude, understandably, then all of a sudden you can't do that. And it's amazing what a shift something practical can make to the way that you think, the way that you see the world and the way that you see yourself in the world, and what you go, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, just because something's removed or taken temporarily away from you, then there's a shift in thinking, and literally a shift. Like I said on the weekend, I went to Perth for a gig, and I was in, and I'm not a baby, like I've got a reasonably high pain threshold. I've torn everything, I've ruptured my pec, I've had my nose broken multiple times, I've just lots of things, right? This thing, it's like neural pain, so bulging disc radiating down my leg and non-stop. And I said to someone the other day, if someone could come in here and fix this, so it's fixed, no pain, I'd give them $10,000.
Really?
And 100%. If somebody could fix this right now, so it's just gone and I'm just pain-free, I'd give them $10,000. And that's, you know, you get to that point where $10,000 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who cares about $10,000? You know, if you probably don't have $10,000, maybe $1.90. But, you know, you just get to that point where there's a shift and your perspective and your thinking and your priorities change. Yeah. And all of a sudden, what matters in life is not what gigs I've coming up or what are people thinking, or it's just how do I get pain-free.
You have to lose perspective to gain perspective.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the, you know, the common things when we do these videos and we're talking about how do I make my life better. So the common denominator with all, whether it's Tony Robbins or Deepak or Marianne Williamson, I think her name is, or you know, Wayne Dyer or Gary Vaynerchuk, you know, all of these people who are in some way in the health or fitness or financial or career space of growing, evolving, learning. Yeah. You know, the thing is, in the middle of it all, there's us. In the middle of that program or that ambition or that bank balance or that career or that thing that you're working on is us. And we spoke about this a bit a couple of shows ago when, you know, we were talking about whether or not you find fulfillment in something or excitement in something or boredom or connection or disconnection. It's not so much about the thing, it's about the way you relate to the thing, you know? And so when you find something that you go, well, when my life gets to that stage, or when this is happening, or when I create that result, or I look like that, or I have this, or I own that or earn that, then there's an underlying psychology that then you'll be happy, or then you'll be fulfilled, or then you've arrived. But quite often we get to that point, and that's not the case. Yeah. It's not necessarily, sometimes there's a correlation, but we know that with, you know, especially with money, there's a point, and people say different figures, but some people say $70,000 or $80,000, but it depends on what what the dollar's doing and where we're at, but let's even say $100,000, you know, depending on the individual. But there's a fair bit of research that says, a fair bit of evidence that says once you get past a point in your income, there's no greater correlation between, it's not like, well, I'm earning that and I'm that happy, so if I'm earning that, I'll be twice as happy. In fact, sometimes the opposite is true, because then we start to obsess about money.
Yeah, and the reality is, if you've got a business that's making a lot of money, there's a lot of work that has to go into it.
Yeah, and there's also a lot you can lose.
It's almost like we need to see this, or be injured, or go away, or like to get this perspective on our situations.
Everything is perspective. Everything. You know, there'll be people watching this now who are going, fuck, this is interesting. There'll be people who are turning off now because they're not interested. Yeah. They're both watching this. Both of those people are watching the same thing. Yeah. Get the same information, the same words, the same video, because it's not just about what we're doing or saying or what they're seeing, but rather their perception of what's going on. Yeah. You know, you coming back to Australia, some people would come back and go, fucking Australia, bogans, blah, blah, blah. You come back and you go, oh, thank God I'm home. I really like my trip, but I love living in St Kilda. I love walking.
I enjoy flushing toilet paper because you can't on the Greek islands.
Really. And that's all about, you know, the story that we tell ourselves, and my life is great or my life is shit. Sometimes there's something tangible to that, but sometimes that's just a story.
Do you have moments where you stop and just catch yourself and then go to a place of gratitude? Because I do it. I stop and I close my eyes, whether it's going to sleep, and I actually just think about it. And it makes me happy. It makes me feel good inside. Yeah. And if you it's just basic stuff. Yeah. That you just, my health, or a nice warm blanket, a roof over my head, like just small stuff. Yeah. I do that. That works for me. Is there anything that you do?
You know, I'm going to answer that, but in a roundabout sort of a way. So there's a really interesting podcast called Invisibilia, and somebody put me onto it. I put you onto it, didn't I? Or did you put me onto it?
Maybe.
Don't know. Anyway, we're both into it, and it's and if, you know, again, we've got no relationship, but if there's something that I think's good, and I'm going to promote it. I don't care. Like, I don't get anything from it, but I just want to give something, and it's a very good podcast, and it's essentially explores the invisible forces that influence us. So things that are unseen that really influence the way you think and feel and react, and your state of happiness or unhappiness. And I listened to one recently, and I've always thought this, but I've never heard anyone talk about it. Yeah. And it was a whole episode. Look it up. It's pretty recent. Invisibilia. Tom will write it, Invisibilia. And it's on, they talk about our relationship with clothes. Clothes? And how clothes, right, can change your state quite considerably. So one of the tests that they did was an intelligence test of sorts, where they got a random group and another random group, all very comparable, all from the same whatever, you know, demographic, so 20 people, and they got these people to do this test, just dressed how they normally dress. Then they got the others to go in to like an area where they would have a doctor's coat put on them, be done up, and somebody would look after them, dress them up in a medical coat, a white coat, and then they did the test, and all of them pretty much, the group scored much higher, like significantly higher. Not so it was a coincidence, wearing different clothes, right? And then they spoke about things like the way that, and I know this for myself, when I dress up in a suit and I do a gig in where that's an appropriate attire, I feel way better than if and I don't like wearing suits, but in that instance, I really like wearing suits, right? Yeah. And then if I'm doing a gig on a building site and I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, I feel like I'm in the right thing and I feel better and I'm more in flow. Yeah. If I come home, I don't ever wear anything, as you know, other than comfy tops or flannel shirts or cargo shorts and thongs and runners and whatever. Yeah, yeah. The moment I get home from wherever, flannel shirt, well, that's my uniform. Yeah, yeah. And it literally affects things like blood pressure, heart rate, hormone production. Yeah. So one of my little rituals is to just do the things that I know work for me. And that might be Sometimes I'll just sit on the edge of my bed in the morning and I'll not give thanks, but I'll kind of just hit the pause button and think about what I've got to do, and I might feel grateful. I might go, what have I got to do? What have I got to do first? What's not important? And so I think we all can create this blueprint for us, because your blueprint won't be mine, ours won't be someone who's watching. What's the blueprint of success or happiness or contentment or productivity or calm or efficiency for you? And just, it's like I always say, your body's giving you biofeedback. Your body's telling you what it needs. So too, your life is giving you life feedback.
Well, it's even like I told you my way, that's your way. And if someone's looking and researching to find a way to be able to practice gratitude, you've got to try a couple, because some of them won't work. And I think that's what you're saying. You've got to find what works for you and then do that. Because I've, read the nightly journal, writing out what's... Like I could do that, but I find it works for me just lying in bed thinking and thinking about this and saying it in my head and really feeling it like throughout my body. So it's like a bit of a meditation.
Well, I think also and this sounds very touchy-feely, Dalai Lama-y, and I've seen the Dalai Lama talk, bless. I loved him. He's pretty quiet though, I had to listen hard. The sense of being, and this needs to be done in an intelligent way, but being generous and not selfless, but unselfish. I know for me, to a point, there's a cutoff when you become a people pleaser or you get used and abused. But I know there's a point, up until a point where the more I give, the better my life is.
Yeah.
And the more selfish I am, and I've tried it, the worse my life is. So the more self-focused and the more me and the more self-centered and the more ego-driven I am, and I know this just sounds like a good thing to say, but it's 100% true. When I go, I even still say some things and I go, nah, I just said that because that sounds good. I just said that because I want to impress someone. Because in this situation, I've done that, but I didn't need to say it. I said it because I want approval or something. Yeah. But that's okay, because that's normal. And it's being able to acknowledge that stuff and admit that stuff where, if any of our listeners listened to that, or our viewers listened to that Russell Brand thing with Joe Rogan that we spoke, where he talks about that. Now, for me, he's one of the most entertaining, interesting, funny, creative people on the planet. And he talks all the time about, this juggling act between doing good and empowering others and being funny and being conscious and being, aware and being a fucking idiot. Because it's we're all of it. We're all works in progress, and that sounds cliche, but it's true. Yeah. Unless you're not a work in progress, then you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. So get to work, everybody.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, can you just leave me alone, because I'm going to just be grateful for a few things.
See, now you're being insincere. Now you're being a fuckwit.
Yeah, I'm a fuckwit. All right, we'll leave it there.
All right, mate.